All right, good afternoon, Pink Sox. It is Thursday, and there's no rain in the forecast that I can see, so it looks like we're finally going to have a practice tomorrow night. Now, of course, that I've said that, we're probably going to have a tornado and like 5 inches of snow, but just think happy, dry thoughts. We can have our first practice tomorrow night. It's especially important because it looks like there's rain in the forecast early next week, so I really want to get this one in just in case that we have a rain out next week before our opening day on Saturday, April 6th. There will be no game on April 6th. That's just going to be the ceremonies. They're going to announce our team, we'll march us onto the field, and it's going to be team pictures, like all the different teams from around the league. Softball, t-ball, coach pitch, baseball, majors and minors, everybody just meets on the field. I believe it's going to be up in Germantown again, like it usually is. More details will be forthcoming within the next week. I should also be getting the uniforms and the schedule soon, so fingers crossed things go as planned. Now, I hope by now that you've had a chance to review the first two videos that I posted last week, because since we didn't have practice last week, and I'm not sure if we're going to have it next week, tomorrow night's practice is going to be a lot condensed into one, quick 2-hour block, all right? I'm going to go through it kind of quick, but if there are any questions, please, when I ask if there's any questions, if you have one, raise your hand. It's not a big deal. I'll help you out. I'll stay late if I have to. If you want me to stay after a little bit and answer some more questions, I don't have a problem with that, all right? That's what I'm here for. I'm here to make sure that you girls get all the understanding that you can so that you have as much fun, all right? That's what we want to do. We want to have fun playing this game. Now, one of the big things with softball, I know the really fun thing is hitting. Everybody wants to hit. That's the big thing. But it's no good to hit and score 15 runs if your defense is going to be a dumpster fire and give up 25. All right? That's just the way it is. You've heard people say defense wins championships. It applies to a lot of sports. Football, baseball, softball, soccer, whatever. If you go back and watch the final game of the softball College World Series last year, Jessica Warren from Florida State University made an amazing play. There was a runner on first base, and there was nobody out. A soft little hit came. She charged in from third base, and she dove full body extension, reached out, caught the ball in the air, landed on her stomach, held on to the ball, and because the runner at first thought for sure there was no way she was going to come up with it, she was completely caught off guard. So from her knees, Jessie picked up the ball, threw it to first, and got a double play. It turned a situation around and preserved a 1-run lead. It was one of the most amazing plays you will see at any level of baseball, softball, any sport. It was just fantastic. So if you want to Google and watch on YouTube, Jessie Warren, FSU, Softball World Series last year. Fantastic play. But that's the type of play that wins championships. That's the type of play that keeps the game from getting out of hand. It keeps the other team from scoring. Because if you can score a bunch of runs, it's great. But if you can't keep them from scoring, do the math, right? So what we're going to be doing today, in addition to just what I'm going to be doing tomorrow, rather, is I'm going to go over what the first two videos were, do some quick hitting stuff, do some quick fielding stuff. We'll break into our groups, and then we're going to do scenario plays where I'm going to have you in the field at different positions, and we're going to have different runners and different bases, and we're going to be pretending the ball was hit to second. What do you do? The thing about fielding is having a plan, knowing how many people are on base, who's on base, and where you have a force play and where you have a tag play. And that's the focus of what I'm going to be talking about in this video right now. Force versus a tag. A force play is always going to be at first base when a batter hits. What a force play means is that all you have to do is step on the bag. You have to step on the bag with your foot. You can dive to the bag and touch it with the ball. That's fine, whatever. But as long as you have to have possession of the ball and be touching the bag in some capacity, and that's a force play. That happens when a runner has no choice but to come to your base. So when you're a batter and you're standing at home plate, you swing and you hit, you only have one choice. You can only go to first base. After that, you might be able to go to second base, third base, and so on. But the first line is going to first base. That's why it's a forced place, because you're not allowed to just run back and be like, nah, I'm going to stay here, right? That's cool. If there's a runner at first base and the ball is hit, that runner has to go towards second base, because you can't have two runners occupying the same base. So that runner can't just stay at first base because there's a runner that just hit the ball coming towards her. If that happens and two people are on the same base, the lead runner, which is the runner that was already there, is automatically called out. Now, if the runner is at second base and there's nobody at first base and the ball is hit, that runner at second base doesn't have to run if she doesn't want to, because there's no one pushing her. There's no one forcing her back. If she started to run to third, you'd have to actually physically tag her, because just stepping on third isn't a force, because she has the option of running back to second base as long as the other runner hasn't headed towards second already. So that's another thing you've got to pay attention to, is as a base runner, is making sure that, I know sometimes when you got some fast runners and you take off and you're not paying attention, if you run too fast, you might force your teammate into a bad situation. So pay attention to what you're doing when you're running on the bases. You definitely can't pass your teammate. If you pass your teammate, that's an out also, all right? There's got to be an order to things. So I'm going to show you real quick with this whiteboard, okay? I'm trying to get out of the glare of the light a little bit. All right. There are 10 positions in the field. Normally, we have 9 positions, but for minor league softball, they allow 4 outfielders. In Major League Softball and professional and college and all that, you only have left field, center field, and right field. For us, we have left field, left center field, and right field. And then, of course, you've got, I didn't have pitcher marched down, but you've got your pitcher right there, your catcher at home plate, first base, second place plays in between first and second, shortstop, which plays in between second and third, and then your outfielders, as I just described. Now, if the ball starts here, right, the ball is hit on the ground to the pitcher picks up the ball. If the pitcher is closer, she can tag the base. She throws it to first. If the ball is caught and beats the runner there, that's a force play. That's an automatic out. Now let's say there's a runner at first base, and the ball is hit right here to shortstop. If the ball is hit right here to shortstop can tag second base or toss the ball to the second baseman, who should be covering the bag. And if they step on the base before that runner gets there, that runner is out. Why? Again, because this runner has to go this way. So the ball being hit here makes the runner that's over here come up here and pushes this runner all the way over to second base. So if you tag the base, that's it. It's an automatic. That runner has no option to go back. The only time the runner would have the option to go back is if, let's say, the first baseman picked up the ball and stepped on first and got the automatic out. Now that runner can be caught in a rundown. Now it's no longer a force play because they have the option of going back to first base because you've already eliminated that runner. So there's a lot of different scenarios that we'll be doing in practice tomorrow. And like I said before, if there's just a runner on second base and there's nothing else going on and the ball is hit, let's say the ball is hit right here to the shortstop again. Well, that second base runner may not want to run over here because they might run into the path of the shortstop. If you have the ball at any time, you can tag the runner. If you see a runner running right by you, tag her. Don't shove her. It's not football. But tag her, and that's an out. You can always tag somebody. Tagging always works. Tagging will always get you an out if you have possession of the ball and the runner is off the base. But force plays are specific. Force plays are when the runner has no choice but to go to that base. Right here, this girl at second base, she has the choice when that ball is hit. She has the choice to either wait for the shortstop to field it and then try to throw it to first and then take off, hoping that she can beat the throw, or just stay there. We might just tell her to stay. So watch what we're going to do. During a game, you're going to have one coach here and one coach here. When you're at first base and when you're at home plate, you pay attention to the first base coach. That's the coach. It's probably going to be me. I'm the one who's going to tell you that it's safe to go to second, and tell you to take, to stop right there, or tell you can take another base. Once you get to second base, this is who you look for, the third base coach. The third base coach is going to tell you when you can steal. The third base coach is going to tell you to hold up, or, a motion like this means to slide. Always try to slide feet first, never head first, all right? You're going to get hurt that way. It's really important to understand the different scenarios, and that's what we're going to do tomorrow at practice, because it's kind of confusing, the force versus the tag. And don't be afraid, don't be worried or discouraged if you don't remember it all right away. That's fine. Again, that's what I'm here for. That's what Coach Jose and Coach Luis are here for. We're here to help educate you on this, get you used to it. The only way to really learn it is to do it. So that's why tomorrow night, after we've done our little group work, it's still the same plan. The group with me is going to be working on the tee and working on pepper, just building that hand-eye coordination. The group working with Coach Jose is going to be working on some throwing mechanics and some catching. And we're going to have Coach Luis working on fielding, the 3 different positions, below the waist, above the waist, above the head, like I talked about in the first 2 videos. All right? When you're fielding, like I said, you got to make sure you've got a plan. You've got to know what to do. You can't just toss the ball to a random place. Sometimes the best play is not making one at all. Sometimes the ball is just hit slow. You grab the ball, and the runner is maybe a half an inch from first base, and you're all the way over at third base. Hold it. Listen for us. We'll probably tell you, hold it. You don't have to throw the ball to try and make the play. If you can't make that throw, and she's already pretty much safe, just hold the ball, throw it to the pitcher, and that kills the play. She can't run any further than that. If she's already going to be at the base, there's no sense in running a risk of throwing it, having it go past the first baseman, and then allowing that runner to go to another base. All right? If the runner is running right by you, just give her a tag. The other thing that's important is, with regards to fielding, the runner has the right to a clear base path. So when you're if there's a runner at second base, you cannot be standing to play defense directly between second base and third base. That's obstruction of the runner's base path. If you don't have the ball, you cannot stand there. You have to step a little bit back or a little bit forward, and you'll hear us directing you. Sometimes we know certain hitters hit harder. We'll tell you, play back. It's easier to come in on a ball than it is to be playing in, have a ball go over your head, and have to run with your back to the ball and back to the field and not know what's going on. It's easier to come in than it is to go back out and then come in. Okay? So it's up to you to stay out of the way. So if you don't have the ball, you can't stand there in the base path and block a girl from running. That's obstruction. It'll automatically grant her the base. That's an automatic rule. Same thing is if you're running. All right? Now, if you're running and the girl has the ball and she's going to tag you, she has the right to make the play on you. So you have to try and avoid. You can't run super far out of the base path, but it's up to you to avoid the contact. Any contact is, depending on the situation, depending on who has the right of way, the fielder or the runner in that particular situation, will determine what the call is going to be. So remember, if you're standing there and you're playing shortstop or you're playing second base, so you're in between baselines, you cannot stand camped out in between directly on the baseline, because that's considered obstruction. Now, if you get the ball and then you're there, that's fine. Now you're an active fielder. You actually have the ball, but you can't stand there waiting for the ball there. It gets kind of dicey when you're running up to try and catch the ball, and that's a judgment call on the umpire's part, but that doesn't really happen very often. So that's your force play versus tag play in a nutshell. I know it's a lot to take in. Just watch this video, review the other 2. Tomorrow you'll get to see it in action. You'll get to see how we do it live, and we'll do a couple of different scenarios where we have runners. You'll always hear me yell out during the game, "Where's the play, ladies?" And you'll learn about that a lot more tomorrow night, because we're going to be doing it for a while. All right? Until tomorrow night, think good thoughts. Have a good night. See you ladies tomorrow. Let's go Pink Sox.